rise up like the sun, oh God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the land between the seas. Light up the universe, light up the universe with joy. Light up the universe, light up the universe with joy. On that day, by Yom HaHu, we sing to you. On that day, Shmo Echad, your name. On that day, by Yom HaHu, we sing to you. On that day, Shmo Echad, your name as one. Rise up like the sun, oh God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the land between the seas. Light up the universe, light up the universe with joy. Light up the universe, light up the universe with joy. On that day, by Yom HaHu, we sing to you. On that day, Shmo Echad, your name. On that day, by Yom HaHu, we sing to you. On that day, Shmo Echad, your name as one. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. May you have a peaceful day. Shabbat Shalom. May you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. As we watch the candles shine. Shabbat Shalom. Cover the challah, pour the wine. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Time to take a big deep breath. Shabbat Shalom. A special day for us to rest. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome. It is a pleasure to have you here at Temple Emmanuel of South Hills, whether you are with us in the room or you are with us in sacred virtual community. We welcome you this evening as we celebrate not only Shabbat, but Scout Shabbat, recognizing those young people in the congregation and beyond who are participating in Scouts and learning the values that are going to make this world a better place. I'm so excited that before our service formally begins, could I invite you to rise as we welcome in members of one of our Scout troops.
So we're going to start off by saying the Scout Oath and Scout Law. If you know it, you can join along. So, Scout Oath. On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, too.
Thank you guys so much. Wonderful. Thank you, members of our Boy Scout troop. We have so many Scouts with us in the room this evening, and we are grateful for all of your presence. I would invite you to grab a seat as we begin our service this evening with words of welcoming. How good it is that we can be together in this space. How good it is we can be together in sacred community working to make the world a better place. To honor us as we kindle the lights of Shabbat on page 2, at least Emily and maybe Evelyn Meyer. On page 2, we bring a little extra light, a little extra warmth into this world. Thank you so much, both of you. And as we turn to page 5, recognizing the sweetness of Shabbat as well as the sweetness of our time together, I would invite you to rise if it's comfortable to do so. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu zicharon l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha me'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. Please, I would invite you to again be seated as we turn in our prayer books, pages 20 and 21, welcoming Shabbat.
Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem tiferet v'litila le'echadoni likrat kala v'nei shabbat nekabela le'echadoni likrat kala v'nei shabbat nekabela לקראת שבת לכו ולכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מגדת נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לחלומי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי Ori kiva orek kumi uri shidaberi kavod Adonai alaik nikla lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat.
And invite you to rise if you would.
Oy v'shalom ataret ba'ala gam besimcha uvtola toch emunei am segula bohi kala leil hadomi likrat kala pe'nei Shabbat nekabela leil hadomi likrat kala pe'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shalom Malakei HaShalom Malakei Elyon Malakei HaShalom Shalom Malakei HaShalom Malakei Elyon Malakei HaShalom Likrat b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
It is wonderful to have you with us in person and online. If you're with us in the room, would you take this opportunity to turn to the people in your personal compass, north, south, east, and west, wish them a Shabbat Shalom as our service begins. Right, and I invite you to find your seats as we continue our welcoming. We turn in our prayer books to page 24 for an upbeat version of Shalom Aleichem, welcoming God's ministering angels to be with us this evening, to be with us this weekend. You know it. I hope you love it as much as I do, and I hope you will join us.
So, Rabbi asked me to do tonight, which I love doing. Everybody knows I do. But he said, everything upbeat, including Shalom Aleichem. Everything upbeat. And the whole version of every song. Well, you can tell I'm getting over a little bit of something. So this next song, I really do need your help. Quite a lot. It's a lot of words, and it's really fast. Okay? And join in, please. It just repeats over and over and over. But I need you to clap, stomp, tap your feet, whatever I need you to do. I really do need you to do this, or I'll never make it through. Ready? Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Shareb, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malakei Hamlachim, Makadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Shareb, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malakei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Shareb, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malakei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem Shalom, Malakei Shalom, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malakei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malakei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Li Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, come on. Shalom, Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Say Shalom Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Say Shalom Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I've never had to rely on myself to do that whole thing, ever.
I wish I could clap in rhythm, because I'd have been there with you, but I can't. I'm sorry.
You did great. Everybody did great. Thank you.
We turn in our prayer books to page 26, words giving Tim a moment to catch his breath. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'almad yivrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kari Vimeru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mevarach, Le'ala Mula Me'amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitbar V'yishramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithaleh, V'yithalal, Shemei Kudusha, Richu, Leila Minko Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Damiran Belma V'imevru. Amen. Our Baruch Hu praise, our call to worship, this formal start of our service, page 28. I would again invite you to rise if it's comfortable to do so.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
The watchwords of our faith, Shema Yisrael, can be found on pages 34 and 35 in your prayer book this evening. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Unless your name is Anna, I would invite you to be seated at this time as we continue with our Ve'ahavta prayer, page 36. Amen. Well, thank you both. All right, whenever you're ready.
Et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha vidibarta bam vishitecha levetecha uvlectecha baderech ukshartam leod ukumecha ukshartam leod aliodecha v'litotafot beinenecha Utaftam, all this of Beitecha, Uvisharecha. L'ma'an tiskaru, ve'asitem, ekol mitzvotai, v'hem kedoshim, le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti lem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, leot lechem, le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
And as we prepare for our Mi Chamocha prayer, our prayer of freedom and responsibility, would you join me in the English on the top of page 39? Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40.
Mi chamoka ba'elim Adonai, mi chamoka neda ba'kodesh. Mi chamoka ba'elim Adonai, mi chamoka neda ba'kodesh. Nora tehilo, osef eleh. Nora tehilo, osef eleh. Adonai, yimloch leolam va'ed. Malchutecha uvanecha, bokeh hayam livnei Moshe Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda ba'kodesh. Mi chamoka ba'elim Adonai, mi kamoka neda ba'kodesh. Nora tehilo, osef eleh. Nora tehilo, osef eleh. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
Continue now with a prayer for peace at the onset of evening. Perhaps on the way in, you grabbed a special page of words, the combination of Matis Yahu's one day, along with the Hashkivenu prayer of our tradition. If you didn't grab one on the way in, that is A-OK. The words of prayer can be found on page 42, and we'd invite you to join in with the parts you know.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. Ushmor Setenu Uvoenu leChaim uShalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, and I know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, praying for the people to say, we don't want to fight no more, there'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim.
Amen. We turn in our prayer books now to page 46 for the start of our Amidah. As we turn to page 46, I would invite you to rise as we continue together in prayer. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. I invite you now to take your seats as we turn in our prayer book to page 62. On page 62, we find words of an evening prayer for peace, O say shalom. These words going back thousands of years, this melody, relatively new by our 2022 musician in residence. Alana Jagoda and Saul Kay will be with us in just 2 weekends, and we hope you will be here, and I really hope we get to sing this song. It's like my one request to her.
Yeah, this is a great song. And she'll sing it up kajillion better. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. Be the one that brings peace down, brings peace down. Be the one, bring the one that makes peace, brings peace down. Be the one that makes peace, brings peace down, brings peace down. Be the one that makes peace, brings peace down. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. Be the one that makes peace, brings peace down, brings peace down. Be the one that makes peace, brings peace down, brings peace down. Be the one that makes peace, brings peace down, brings peace down. Be the one that makes peace, brings peace down.
May God bring a sense of peace to us and to all in this world, in particular those who are struggling, those who may be struggling from ailments of mind, of body, of spirit, as so many are during these difficult days. Words of Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for healing, can be found on page 253. And before we join together in these words of prayer, I would invite you to call to mind at this time those in need of God's healing touch, humanity's healing presence, to be with them during these difficult days. If there are those you are thinking of in need of healing and you wish to do so, I would invite you to share their name aloud. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to all who are ill. And together we say, Amen. Page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Makor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
It was hot, like really, really, really hot. Like one of those days when you're out in the boat and it starts off kind of cool and you think it's going to be a nice day, and then the sun starts beating down on you and you have nowhere to turn, no way to escape it. That kind of hot. It was a mother and son who were out in this boat who were trying to catch some fish for dinner that evening. And wouldn't you know it? They had a little bit of success. And the mother told the son that he's the one who had to lug that cooler of fish the whole way back home on that super hot day. The son may have grumbled a little bit. The son may have grumbled a lot bit, because who wanted to be carrying a cooler full of stinky fish the whole way up the hill away from the boat? But indeed, that is what his mom tasked him to do. And on the walk, with fish sloshing around everywhere in the cooler and bumping against his leg because he was tired and complaining, a person came up and said, I see that you have some fish. I don't know from where my next meal is going to come. Can I have some of your fish? The mother turned to her son to see what he would do. And the son thought about it and decided, okay, I can help out. Reached into the cooler of fish, hunted around, and found the smallest possible fish, and said, okay, here you go. The mother looked at her son and said, that wasn't right. This man needs something to eat, and you're going to give him our smallest fish? The son thought about it for a moment and went back into the cooler and said, okay, well, maybe there's some more fish. Is that enough to feed him? The mom said, no, you're still not doing right. The son finally realized, if I grab the biggest fish, if I get the biggest one from the entire cooler, and I were to make sure that the hungry person got that one, maybe then I would do right by them. I don't want to throw these lest I hit anyone, but please. And yet, it still wasn't quite right. Hannah, heads up. Oh, Steph, heads up. Did anyone not get? Any adult really hungry? Now's your chance. And it still wasn't enough. The mom looked at the son and said, I don't think you realize what you've done. You started with the littlest bit possible. And then only begrudgingly did you get bigger and bigger and bigger. But that's not enough. It's incumbent upon you. You should have known this from the beginning. Not to give that person one of our fish, but to go back to the boat to teach them how to fish. For indeed, if you teach them how to fish, they won't be dependent on you for a fish any longer. I share this creative take on this well-known proverb, not because I don't suspect you've heard it 100 times, for indeed it's several hundred years old at this point, but I share it as a way of honoring the scouts who are among us tonight, as well as reminding the rest of us of its message. You really can make a difference. It seems hard to believe sometimes, right? With all that's going on in this world, with global pandemic and national conflict, it's sometimes hard to imagine that we can make a tangible difference in the lives of other people, and yet we can. Each of us has that power. You can do that even when you're not carrying a bucket of fish. You can make a tangible difference in people's lives, and there's a right way to do it. In many ways, this is one of the enduring lessons of scouting, isn't it? Not only can we make a difference, not only should we make a difference, but how we do so, how we act as human beings matters. To have given that person a fish would have allowed us to check the bare minimum box, to have fulfilled our obligation to help him find something to eat. But when we've taught him how to fish, we begin to embody that scout law. And I realize that this is not exactly the words you started the service with. It is a blend of the Boy Scout and Girl Scout codes. Helpful, courteous, friendly, kind, considerate, caring, respectful of others, helping other people at all times. You can make a difference, and how you act matters. And our religious traditions are here to support you as you do it. The Girl Scout promise, the Boy Scout oath recognize the importance of God, and the religious frameworks, our structures allow us to provide in support of number one and number two. I'm grateful for the participation of the Scouts in the room this evening, and rather than embarrass you and make you come forward on camera, if you're actively involved in scouting right now as a youth, as a young person, would you just stand up where you are so that we can see you and acknowledge you this evening? And if you're actively involved in Scouts as one of the leaders, one of the adult leadership, could I invite you to rise at this time that we might recognize you? And if at any point you've been involved in scouting as an organization, as you've embodied these values that seek to make the world a better place, would you rise at this time as well? For those who are with us online, I wish I could show you a congregation that was on its feet. It is an amazing thing. And I'm grateful for all of your participation in scouting organizations, and indeed your involvement in houses of worship, be that Temple Emmanuel or elsewhere. And I'm counting on you, each of you, to know that you can make a difference in the life of other people, to know that how you act matters, and to know that you can make this world a better place. Thank you so much. You are welcome to be seated. We turn back now in our prayer books as we begin the process of concluding our service. Words of Aleinu L'Shabach can be found on the bottom of page 282. Page 282. When you find your page, I would invite you to rise if it's comfortable to do so.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tegedula l'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu chuye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. I invite you to be seated. We turn now in our prayer books to page 294 as we remember all of those who came before us. This time in our service, I'm going to read a list of names, those we have said goodbye to in recent days and those we have said goodbye to at this time in years past. And though it is a longer list tonight, we recognize that each of these people holds a special place in our heart, that each of these people have shown us the values with which we strive to live in our day. We remember Malvina Mal Levy, who was laid to rest in recent days, and observe the period of Shaloshim for George Goodman, Michael E. Kelly, and Fred M. Rock. This Shabbat, we mark the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Marjorie Alexenberg, Harold Joseph Barnett, Hannah Katz Berkowitz, Morris Murray Brannan, Samuel Chetlin, Ian Francis Cohen, Jacob Cohen, Samuel Cohen, Gilbert Cohn, Reuben Dobkin, Louis Ehrenrich, Cecilia S. Fries, Dean J. Hirschfield, Samuel Hirschfield, Marcella Katz, Max Katz, Jeremy Robert Kindler, Joan Langs, Cecil Lewick, Howard Marcus, Arlene Metzger, Louis S. Miller, Abraham Morris, Ruth Moss, Harry Presser, Sarah G. Rosenberg, Sarah Sadowski, Samuel Schechter, Lillian Scheffler, Daniel Simon, Harry Singer, Jenny Slavkin, Harry A. Sobel, Rebecca Watsman, Victor M. Wine, Philip Weiner, Susan Wolf, and Samuel E. Zients. If there are others you are remembering this Shabbat, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I would invite you to share their name with the community at this time. Yehei zichronam livracha, may their memory be for us an everlasting blessing. On page 294, together we affirm words of Kaddish Yatom as I would invite you to rise. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Belma Divrach Hirutei V'Yamlich Malchutei B'chayecho Nuvyomecho Nuvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala V'Zman Kariv V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Leolam Lamei Amaya
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha barichu le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May God, who makes peace in the highest of heaven, make peace for us and for all who mourn. And together we say, Amen. You're welcome to be seated. Just a couple of quick announcements before a concluding song this evening. I'm excited for a number of upcoming events. Next Friday evening, we are honored to welcome Dr. Ali Michael. Dr. Michael grew up here in Mount Lebanon and is in town for a long weekend in the Mount Lebanon community, teaching about her work in anti-racism and diversity and equity and ensuring that all have access to a wonderful education in the start of life. She's going to be with us for a combined service with our friends at Beth El on next Friday evening at 7 p.m. To speak about the intersection of her Judaism and her work. She'll be with an interfaith group. Temple Emmanuel joins our friends at Bower Hill Community Church at Bower Hill Community Church, along with St. Paul's and Westminster and Southminster and Sunny Hill Unitarian and Sunset Hills Presbyterian. We invite everyone for a robust interfaith conversation at 3 p.m. and then again on Sunday as she begins to work with teachers in the Mount Lebanon School District in our early childhood programs across the community. I hope you will join us for one or all of those wonderful programs. And then you have 1 week to catch your breath before we welcome you back for our musician in residence. Alana Jagoda and Saul Kay join us the following weekend for a wonderful Friday night service. You heard their music throughout our time together tonight, followed by a Havdalah concert on Saturday evening, and then she'll be with our Torah Center kids on Sunday morning. Should be a wonderful weekend, and I hope you will join us. Immediately following the conclusion of our service, for those of you who are with us online, we invite you to join in a Zoom Oneg, a Zoneg, a chance to come together in sacred community wherever you may be. A special thank you to you, Tim Brogdon, for helping to lead us in our service, to Leslie Hoffman, Temple's executive director and executive producer, and everyone who has joined us in celebration not only of Shabbat, but the scouting community among us. We are grateful for everything that you do to make this world a better place. Tim, what are you in the mood for this evening?
After a day where it hit 56 degrees, after the long cold spell, I think my Yafeh.
How beautiful of a day it was. How beautiful is this day of Shabbat. How beautiful our coming together tonight.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Hine matov manahim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manahim, shevet achim gam yachad. Yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Hine matov malachim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov malachim, shevet achim gam yachad. Yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. la 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 la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la la la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la la la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la la la, yeah, la 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 la. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.